What's going on, everybody? This is Owner Huddle Podcast. So look, before we even get ready for the show, I got to get this out my chest. I already tweeted about it. I've seen it on my timeline. It is ridiculous how much I've seen it. I can't even watch regular Twitter because everybody's talking about the two-letter word, EB. Look, it's over for EB in DC. Like, everybody got their wish. They knew it was a lateral move. He comes to DC with the expectation of fixing the offense that we had problems with Scott Turner. And unfortunately, we finished fairly worse. Did he not have Patrick Mahomes in DC? No, he didn't have Patrick Mahomes. He didn't have Travis Kelce. He didn't have Tyreek Hill. But at the end of the day, a lot of y'all got what y'all called for. And I got receipts. I got receipts, man. Y'all up here said it's a lame duck season. He ain't gonna get no job. But now all of a sudden, we hire my boy DQ. It's a problem. So now when we hire our new OC, Cliff Kingsbury, it's a problem. I don't get it, man. Y'all just hate Washington, don't y'all? This is the Only Huddle Podcast. And we're going to talk about Dan Quinn presser. New era in DC.
I know it looks like Ceelo is at a hotel, but he disappeared. I don't know exactly where he is. But Breeze, what's good, man?
What's good?
Oh, there you go.
Is he back? No, he's still frozen.
He trying to slide around the camera. Welcome back to Owner the Huddle Podcast. Brother Deuce is here. He's here to defend his O-line. I'm getting sick and tired of you dudes and this fan base talking about my O-line. We gonna handle this today. I said tell CJ to drop it.
No, y'all not that, bro.
Nah, it's over. You already put it out there, DT.
I put Troy Apke because he ain't getting on the field. He ain't getting on defense at all.
See, that's the problem. You drinking that South Eagle.
Seriously, he's gonna make the team, and he's gonna be a up back or something.
Up back is crazy. He's not making the team.
What is
Listen, if he makes this team as an up, you know what? Nope.
All the fans leaving again.
They love trap.
Welcome back on the Huddle Podcast. I am Deuce. Me and DT in the building. Breeze and Ceelo will be here shortly. What's good, man?
What's up? Heard we had had a couple people talk today in the Bat Cave. Had people talk
Yeah, man. We had our press conference in the Bat Cave today. We definitely gonna look at some of those clips. It's about 45 minutes. Josh Hirsch basically started everything off, passed it over to Peters, and then Peters to Dan, and they kind of took questions in and out. But yeah, man. What's up, Cody? Utah in the building.
Cody, what's good?
Congratulations, new season ticket holder. You know what I'm saying? Kingpin got him pumped up. Bruce Wayne got him pumped up. Had him calling the season ticket reps. Hey, Miss Janet was in the building. Troy was good. What's up, Juan? Be with your feet. The backwards has hair. That's been good. Chuck said Dan was cooking. Chuck said he took notes, Breeze. He said he took notes, yeah.
Man, I was trying my
What's
best.
Up, man?
Had people leave me alone at work while I was trying to watch it.
So yeah, man, we definitely gonna look at a few clips of it. But overall, Breeze, like, did you get to watch it yet?
I was talking about the first half of it, and then kind of like clips of like the second half.
And what you think, just from what you saw and what you seen on Twitter?
I mean, I think he has the personality and the vision to hopefully the aligned vision along with Adam Peters to kind of get us, where we need to be and get the ship going in the right direction. But I'm like I said, I'm trying my best to stay patient. Like I see people jumping out the window and excited, and I'm not mad at it. I just remember how excited we were at this time last year, the last big hire we made, and how that turned out. So he's definitely talk the talk. But again, we've seen that before. So I'm trying my best to stay patient and I'm trying. It's getting hard, but I'm trying.
Oh, okay. What about you? See, Miss Janet say he was cooking.
He was.
Yep. Juan had to fade Riri.
What up, Ree?
Hey, Kayla called it, man. He called it a couple months ago. She saw Dan on the steps at FedEx. She called it, man. Thinking the same thing, Breeze.
I'm trying.
Saying it's not a rebuild. It's a recalibrate. Trusting the process.
I think he excelled at saying the right things and knowing how to correctly and carefully word things. For sure.
That's just crazy. I excelled at saying the right things.
I mean, we've seen people struggle with that in the past.
Tracy like press conference. Breeze, DT opened the show, and I was going to leave it there, but I'm gonna let you take a crack at it, right? Like I'm trying to get people tweeting. I'm trying to get your notifications rocking tonight. What you think about the whole, we ain't treat EB right thing?
Always watch.
With all due respect to EB, he was aware of the situation he was walking into with a lame duck coaching staff, on what was a losing team as far as where they were at last season, the roster he was inheriting, and he, like I said before, he gambled on himself and he lost. The team did not perform well, regardless of the reason. You can look at many reasons: O-line, quarterback, running back, just offensively, game planning, not just different things across the board throughout the season where EB came up short. That ultimately led to the end result of 4-13. Regardless of how you feel about it, it is what it is. Numbers don't lie. The team won 4 games. So to the people saying that we did EB dirty, I disagree. Coaching is so much about what have you done for me lately, and lately he won 4 games. At that point, on his own, not under the offensive guru of Andy Reid and with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. On his own, his offense, EB, you got this. This is your show. They came up flat. It is what it is. All EB is a good dude. I still think he's a great coach. It just didn't work out. And with the new head coach, coordinators are rarely ever retained when you have a new head coach, unless that head coach is an internal hire. And even then, there's bound to be some kind of turnover. So you get a new head coach who has his vision, and EB didn't fit that vision. That's fine. But we moved on. No, I don't think EB was done dirty. At all. Not by the Commanders. I think he's been done dirty in plenty of years prior to this year, but this year, 4-13.
Yep.
Right.
What's up, Glenn?
Yo.
Say she's sick of it. Juan, he bet on himself, man. Miss Glenn, first of all, he was part of a regime where the team didn't do. And that's the thing. Like when, to your point, when has a fired head coach, offensive coordinator been retained or been promoted to head coach? When has that ever happened? So at some point, it's not about race at this point, right? Like your offense was bottom 25 in the league.
No different from the offense.
Right. Like your quarterback hit a wall, got benched, your backup quarterback faked injuries the last 2 games. So it's like,
and even like for all the people, my bad, but for all the people who want to point out, oh, Sam Howell was leading the NFL the past year. Yeah, they threw the ball 7,000 times last season. Like he should be leading. Like he was, like at one point in time, he was also on pace to annihilate the sack record too.
Yeah,
like That
What's up,
all
Corey?
at some point has to fall back on EB. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Like I said, I personally, I'm gonna say this on camera because people on Twitter don't listen, on X don't listen. I still think Eric Bieniemy is a good football coach, but it didn't work out here. It is what it is. No diss to EB.
No diss at all. What's up, Corey? Yeah, that's possible. He had that job. I think this may be your first time comment, so we definitely appreciate you coming through, Corey. Continue to come back, chop it up with us, man. A lot of in-house reports were saying he was running more than most realized he would. And if other teams wanted him, from what we know since last Friday, we got the report that the Raiders interviewed him for their OC job prior to interviewing Cliff, right? So we did get that. Okay, that's why DC don't got his backwards hat on.
Gotta keep my good hair in check. You know what I'm saying? Curls content, brother.
I ain't got none in this kind of my swag anyway, so I mean,
and like to that point, like Cash said early, which I thought was a perfect take. No players like shouted him out at all, right? During the end of the year, what they call it, the end of the year, pressers. When they in the locker rooms and all that, like. Yeah. None of the players shouted him out. Like nobody treated him how the Raiders players and Crosby and them treated Antonio Pierce. Like nobody spoke up for him. Nobody said, "Man, what EB did for me this year, no one has ever done." What EB was great. EB taught me this. EB this. None of that came from anywhere. No player, no one had that type. It was mostly, man, we should have ran the ball more. We expected this, and that. Like everything. So. No, man, it's not about race with EB. EB was dealt the hand that they allowed him to see before he played it. He decided to play it. And because of that, he bet on himself and he lost. This is the chance that he took. That's on him. His offense was bad, regardless of the situation around you, regardless of the reason why, regardless of the roster, regardless of the talent, regardless of how much time you had. All that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the head coach got fired. The lame duck coach you decided to play for, he got fired, and everybody else is going to get fired, including you. You know what I mean? But I think if he had another opportunity to build and be able to build this team and build the playbook, build the roster, get the players that I think EB can succeed. It's no hard feelings with that. But the fact of the matter is it's a new head coach, new front office. Nobody picked these guys. And I don't think they should be held accountable for not wanting them to stay around.
No, that's man.
I have arrived, saw the presser when I woke up today.
Right,
back up. I think EB go to the Raiders as their head coach.
Well,
they already got a head coach. They got an OC too. All the head coach job gone, Troy.
Only spot left is Seattle is OC.
Yeah.
I don't see him going there.
What's up, Wayne? I think this might be your first time. We definitely appreciate you, man. All come through, follow.
Left on the couch.
Follow this, for real.
That's
follow
crazy.
the show, subscribe.
Wow.
Everybody in the chat, please hit that like button, get that algorithm working. Hello, guys. I'm looking for an exciting new era. No matter how or what they do, only could get better. Amen. Praying. Yeah, man. We all, Wayne. Like we all, man. His burned his bridge trying to prove himself hard nosed. He was always the Reed umbrella as protection prior. New regime, new coaches, 6.5 billion. It's actually 6.05, Corey. Like when you get to them billions, you gotta be precise. EB will do great things in another organ, just not here. Yeah, I agree. And he could have done great things here, but he ain't had the time to do it, which was, he understood that. It's not like he didn't know that. He understood that coming here, that is a chance that he only have this year to prove himself. And that may be why he accelerated Sam Howell so much, is to try to accelerate him to be something that he just wasn't ready for.
I think EB still has qualities to be, like I've said on here and on Twitter. I think he has qualities to potentially be a better head coach than he was a coordinator. But I think EB has to inherit a team one of two ways. Either a team that is very vet heavy to the point that they can kind of accept what he wants to do, or a team that he's building from literally from the ground up, where he can get all the kind of players that fit his kind of hard-nosed mold. But he can't kind of inherit a team that's like in purgatory, that's in the middle, where most of your vets are still kind of young dudes, and your star players are still on rookie contracts. And they're like, man, I'm not doing like it just didn't work. He wasn't a good fit for what we were doing last year, and because of that he went down with the ship. It is what it is, man.
All right, let's get into some of this, man. All right, this is him getting there this morning. Y'all can hear it, right? Adam Peters.
Jason Wright.
Let me start it.
Why are we talking?
Who's
trash?
that? Who's that, man?
Lucius Fox. No,
yeah, Jason Wright might actually be Lucius Fox. Actually, now I think about it,
it's definitely Lucius Fox. I ain't even thinking about it, bro.
Yeah.
Support.
That's a good point, Garage. Like that's something that we need to that we just don't know right now if he's able to translate that without someone that's just as offensive, strong-minded as he is above him. I know you love DQ shoe game. Yeah, shoe game.
I heard his shoe game is fire. I've only seen one pair of Jordans so far, so the jury is still out. Like, you know what I mean? I approved his pre-press conference fit. It is approved, but I'm not gonna say he got that splat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see more. I'm curious to see what DQ walking in on game days with. You know what I'm saying? We fit check.
We definitely gonna find out.
How you doing, dude? Yeah, back at you, bro. Yeah, I'm pumped to be here too, man. What's up, everybody? What's up, Doug? How you doing, dude? Good to see you, man. How's things, brother? Yeah, you too, brother. All right, welcome. How you doing, guys? All right. Yeah, you got that right. Good. Make us think about it every day when we walk in. All right, man. Well, thank you guys for welcoming me here today, man. I couldn't tell you how pumped I am to be here. So let's get this whole thing rocking. All right, thanks, guys. All right. How about that? Nice offense.
That was that. I mean, you saw Adam Peters, you saw Jason Wright. He acknowledged Doug Williams up against the wall, far off. You got the staff that's there, the kitchen people was there. So that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of this, man.
At FedEx Field. Commander fans, what's up? This is Dan Quinn, and I could not be more fired up to hang with you guys in the months ahead and get this place absolutely rocking. So today's the first day when all this starts coming together. So I can't wait to meet you in person. Let's get it rocking.
That's pretty generic. He looks a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I want to introduce y'all to 2027 offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders.
At any moment, but until then,
of establishing that. I was ecstatic. I'm ecstatic for the guys here. I'm excited for everyone in the building because he's a fantastic human being.
So I talked about it on the show
right there on the right.
Somebody who played for the Dallas Cowboys. Where was
Stephon
Stephon
Gilmore now?
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite show.
Look at you.
Yeah, I got connections, but also
He got lined up a little bit. You look like he got lined up.
over two guys that I trust a lot.
Oh man.
incredible.
I want to listen to Josh on how he opens it. Get some of these comments. That's my head coach. Garage said, love that Stone Cold Dan Quinn talk about his time in the DMV back in the day. That matters for understanding who we are as a team rather than trying to just transfer ideas. Let's get this thing rocking. What's up, Brandon? With over 25 free agents, we should find out what Peters and DQ can do building with talent. Plenty of spots to be filled and plenty of money to do it with plenty of draft picks. We definitely going to start looking into that in a few weeks, Brandon. We got $83 million. That's kind of including the draft picks. So that money going to go by pretty fast. It's going to go by pretty fast.
Okay, so this is more like it. I've got two guys sitting next to me here. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today.
We got a corny, funny. He's funny, but he's so corny. Yeah.
He got
It's an incredible day for Washington football. I'd like to start first by thanking my partners, Mitch, Mark, Irvin Johnson, David Blitzer, and the rest of the ownership group for supporting me. And also Rick Spielman and Bob Myers. They were incredible during the process. So thanks you all for the help. Today, when Adam and I were last here, we told you we were going to go find the best leader for Washington football, someone that we felt would lead Washington to be an elite franchise. And Dan, I'm so excited that we're here together and welcome to Washington. And so after a thorough process, we'd love to introducing you to the city here. Stacy, welcome to Washington.
Yep.
And on behalf of the city and the DMV, thank you both for choosing to be on this mission with us in support of the city. So Dan, you've gotten down to work quickly. All I know is, we got all together Friday, and then over the weekend, Cliff Kingsbury, an incredible offensive coordinator, and Joe Witt, incredible defensive mind, have joined our franchise. And obviously, we're very excited about those two individuals. I'll let Dan describe them. But that's what it takes. It takes being able to attract the best people to create a unit, to create a culture, to create a system, to create a team where you can then recruit the best players on the field. When you get the best off the field, when you get the best team off the field, you get the best team on the field. On behalf of Commanders fans, I am thrilled to welcome you, Dan, Stacy, Joe, and Cliff to the city of Washington. And fans, with your support, the future of Washington football is bright. Thank you for your support. It's because of you all that everyone is here. Now I'll turn it over to Adam.
Thanks, Josh.
Bruce
Well,
Wayne.
when we set out to hire the next head coach of the Washington Commanders, I said earlier, we wanted to hire the best leader for our team. And we went through a really thorough process. As you all know, we spoke with a ton of great candidates, but our process led us to the decision that Dan Quinn was the perfect man for the job. Coach Quinn has all the qualities we're looking for. He's unquestionably one of the best leaders in the NFL. You can ask anybody who's been around him, coaches, players. He's a top-notch communicator, an excellent teacher and developer, not only of players, but of coaches. And he's smart, he's driven, and he's really more than anything, a phenomenal person and just a great, great person who's going to lead this team the right way. He's one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. He's proven that time and time again. He can build elite coaching staffs, which Josh alluded to. He's already started. He attracts talent because of the type of person and man that he is. He maximizes that talent, and that's what we're doing. We're building a great staff, and he's really kicking it off really well. He and I have a shared vision that we're going to build a team that with the play style and the identity that you guys will all love to watch. The fans of the Commanders, not only just here in the DMV, but all over the world will love watching Dan's team play. Dan and I are going to be in lockstep in everything we do. We already are, and we will continue to be. We will keep the team and staff connected. He has a track record of tying buildings together, and he's going to tie this whole building together, from the lunchroom to the meal room to the weight room to the equipment room to the locker room. And that's how we're going to do it. And we're going to all be moving.
All right, so that's interesting. Which I didn't hear earlier. He's going to be responsible for, like you said, the cafeteria, the weight room, all that different types of things. So I don't know if that's normal or not for a head coach, but I definitely think that's interesting for him to have that input as far as the builder. So everything that revolves around the team itself, like that's close and tangible with the team. It seems like Dan Quinn is going to be responsible for it. Seems like he's going to be making those calls. Everything that's directly related to the actual team and the football field. So I thought that was very interesting.
Moving in the same direction. So I can't wait to work with Dan. We're going to embark on a really, really fun journey together. This is going to be a great and important off season. We've already started, but the work is just beginning. So with that, I want to hand it over to our new head coach, Dan Quinn.
All right.
Look at Adam Peters. Look at him, man.
Look at Josh.
Don't look at Josh.
Bro, Josh is not like being on camera or in front of a microphone. Like,
For real,
bro, they need to let Magic start handling some of this stuff right here.
He's so confused right now.
Like,
he's so confused. Hey, Chuck, check your DM, Chuck. I'm interested to know how we approach free agency. With Adam said that he ain't going to rebuild. Josh talk like a high school.
Nasty, yeah.
DQ the right players, he could do an excellent job at Washington. I've been a fan ever since I came. I can remember as a boy. Yeah, we waiting, Wayne. We waiting to get back there. He didn't use culture at all. I don't think he said that word one time. What's up, South? Really said it reminded me of the Wentz speech. I don't even remember that, John. I just remember. What's up, Marcus? Listening to the press conference, starting to love the hire, and the one thing love about him and Peter building up the trenches. All right, we're gonna listen to Dan's part, and then we're gonna go to a couple clips. We're not gonna listen to the whole thing, but I do want to listen to Dan.
Man, this is such a awesome moment, and what an outstanding privilege, an honor, and absolute joy to be sitting here beside these outstanding men and joining them in this opportunity to have the vision of this historic franchise. So thank you to Josh and to Adam and to everybody in the organization and the ownership group that's been a part of this. So spoiler alert, you'll hear me say often, be where your feet are. And actually, I try not to say it. I do try to live it. And I'm pretty good at it too. With one exception, over the past few years, there's 5 words that have probably.
All right. I know that was a trigger for some people. We heard that last year. That's something that Andy Reid says. So, take that with a grain of salt. He kind of explained what he actually meant by it coming up. So, and he understands that too, because right after he says, look, I live this, like I actually do it. I don't just say it.
Tested my feet and my head if I get another shot. And as a coach, you prepare for it, you study for it, and there's some lessons that you can't study for. There's lessons that you just have to live. And sometimes through success and sometimes also through adversity. But once you learn those lessons, all you want to do is grab them and run and prove it. And so let me tell you, I am ready to run and prove it. Run like hell. And I'm a little older, maybe a little more chrome, and hopefully a little bit wiser. And but I'm also incredibly grateful for all of that has led to my feet being here. And actually back to here, Although I grew up a Jersey kid watching the NFC East for a long time, and that's what football was to me. That's where my first love of it came. But I also spent a good deal of my 20s here. I went to Salisbury University, about 2 hours south of here, and the best part of that was my wife, Stacy. And so that was the best call I ever made to say, hey, you want to go out? So she said, yeah. And I said, all right. So 29 years later, here we are. She is my ride or die and has been with me on this football life that is ups and downs. And it's an absolute awesome life that we share together. So I also did football and track there. And I also started my coaching career in Virginia. So my first coaching career was first coaching job was at William & Mary. And two guys on the team right now, you'll know their names, Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott. So Mike was a senior wide receiver. So he said, all right, I'll pick you up tonight. We're going to the fraternity party. I said, all right, this coaching gig's pretty good. You know, like I get to still do what I like to do. So next thing, Sean was a sophomore DB.
These are
and relationships like those are so valuable because in this league, you know, it's hard. And so having guys that you can lean on for a long time, that's it. So those guys too. And I also coached at BMI. So in my early 20s, Virginia was a big part. So Stacey and I, we know where we are, and we know who you are, and we know what this franchise means to you, and what it will take to get it back to where it deserves to be. I know you're just starting to know me, and that's going to take some time because building trust, it always does. But I can't wait to start earning it, and that includes the players. It includes the staff, every single man, woman in this organization, and each and every fan, because that is who makes up the entire Washington Commanders team, all of us. And that's awesome because I'm going to give myself a little grace and allow one swear word here because I've done a pretty good job so far. I haven't had any, and I swear a lot. But there is nothing I enjoy more than doing hard shit with good people. And these guys here, these are some really good people. And I cannot.
All right, what's up, Chuck? Turn your camera sideways. How do you rate that quote, Breeze? You ever heard it before? I've never heard it before. You mute. You pull in a C. Henry.
My bad. No, I never heard it before, but I like it though. You know, I like it. I think that's something that, you know, players can kind of buy into. You know what I mean? And I kind of want a T-shirt with it on there. You know, I can't wear it on here because I don't want to kill your algorithms, but you know, kind of want one, man. You know.
Hey, what's up, Chuck? Man, appreciate you joining and chopping it up with us.
What's good, brother?
You. I think you muted too, Chuck.
Yeah, I am.
There you go. You I'm
gonna learn one day.
So tell us what you was doing during the press conference, Chuck.
Hey man, I got a whole. I don't know if y'all can see this, right? I got a whole list of notes that I was taking down while
that man took notes. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Riri said, "Where's Ceelo? Chuck can't even work his camera."
Oh wow.
Not wait to get it rocking here. I can't wait. And so we'll hit the ground running. There's lots to do. And but I want to let you know, man, I've been waiting on this moment. And so to be here with you guys today, I cannot wait to get this thing rocking. So with all that said, let's begin.
All right. I think we got a new one, Breeze. Check it out.
You know what? You might be on something.
I like that, Gerard. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah. We might actually have to do that, like in real life. I'm gonna email you.
He'll relate to the players well. All right. This is about Joe Witt and Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff has always been somebody that I've kept up with. Years ago, we both coached in college.
So the story that Ian Rappaport said, I think he was on the Pat McAfee show, which is interesting, right? Because everybody was telling me that Magic Johnson is just a figurehead, right? That he's just going to be in the community doing stuff and he's not going to have a big role. But Ian said that he was the reason that Cliff came here. Like he was the one that went over there and brought Cliff here. So that right there tells you that Magic is going to be doing more than just being a figurehead, right? I mean, what you feel about that, Breeze?
Oh, what do I do? Say it again. My bad.
Like Magic, Ian Rappaport reporting that Magic was the one that wouldn't go grab Cliff.
No, Magic is connected. Like I don't know why. Like you said, I don't know why people think Magic is just a figurehead. Like I mean, yeah, no. Magic Johnson is connected and respected in sports. Like if Magic Johnson makes that phone call, like you gonna pick the phone up regardless of who you are. Like they're taking advantage of the fact that they have Magic Johnson as a member of this ownership group. Hey, Magic, hey man, make that call real quick. Like that means something.
Right.
If your phone ring, I got two phones. One phone ring and it say Magic Johnson, the other one say Josh Harris. Which phone you think I'm finna pick up first? Like that matters, bro. Like that matters.
Yeah. What you think, DT?
Hey, look, we've been hearing it from Laker fans, Dodger fans, and any other team that Magic Johnson owns. He's going to get superstar players, and he's going to get top coaching candidates. And that charisma and that resume that he has, and just the name alone, that's just the pulling figure right there for a guy like Cliff Kingsbury. He was probably going to settle with 2 years, but even though he didn't like it, then next thing you know, you get a text from Magic Johnson.
Right. Hold up real quick.
Like, he said, hey, man, I'll tell you what. You come to the DMV, I'll give you your wish. I just need you all to connect. And that's how easy it was.
I think people look at the LA market, like the Lakers and the Dodgers, and think that because it's the LA market that Magic is more invested in those because obviously he played for the Lakers and his whole life is based in Los Angeles. Like, but they kind of told you from day one. Magic told you from day one, like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like this ain't just about making money for me. Like I want to win. And to that point, he's going to do what he can do to help win games. And if calling Cliff Kingsbury is that, so be it. I'm sure you got a few more calls to make.
Yeah, what you feel about Chuck and his role so far? I said, well, I ain't talking about Charles Barkley.
I got a new job.
How you feeling about Magic, Chuck?
I'm not gonna lie. I was on the whole. He's just a figurehead trainer at first, but at the end of the day, it's about business, man, and it's about networking. So. It's about who you know and how you can use that to your advantage in the business world. So Magic's cooking up behind the scenes and he doesn't have to like prove anything to us. We see what's going on. So I think he's just moving around in the background trying to get results on the field at the end of the day.
Yeah. Nothing yet with Al Harris. I'm sure we might hear something the next couple days. Yeah, of course. When he's part owner, so of course he's going to be a part. Magic definitely is smooth with the words. Sure ain't Josh. Yeah, Josh ain't really a camera person. Miss Janet say, "What's up, Chuck?" Wayne says, "Bigger part." People like to pigeonhole because it's a way to subtly exercise control over the narrative and dismiss the accomplishments of high successful people. It's true. My previous comment first is Magic. Oh yeah, we know. Just win, baby. He said all the right words from Kim. It's Super Bowl week, so Radio Row has already begun. You want to start seeing a lot of clips of different sporting figures asking all types of questions. So the same questions that you heard them ask today, they're going to be asking those questions all week as soon as they get to Vegas. So it's going to be, this week is going to be very interesting. I think we're going to be the talk of the town once again, or one of the talks of the town once again. And
Radio Row too.
Yeah, yep, Radio Row. So I think the staff would be built out. As we know, Adam Peters met with the whole scouting staff at the Senior Bowl. As of right now, no one is going to be relieved of their duties. He's going to keep, which we kind of talked about, that's what they usually do. That's what they would do, and evaluate after the draft. So,
gotcha.
And we first met each other at an award show and just kind of hit it off on that time, and then competed against each other. I certainly followed his career, through his time at Tech and then into Arizona and competing. And so in the same way of why I wanted to hire Kyle years ago, like, he was hard to go against. He would stretch the field horizontally and vertically, and going against Cliff, those same feelings you had. This is going to be tough. Matchups, formation, speed, shots down the field, aggressiveness, boldness to go. So as a coach, you were writing down some names. If this is something in your future that said, if I get that shot, this is somebody I would want to talk to. And so that's where the start came from him.
all right, so that's Cliff. So basically, he said, he met Cliff some time back at an award show. So he had like an indirect relationship with him. But like he said, if he ever had another opportunity to be a head coach, he would be someone that he want to be in as an offensive coordinator. And Breeze, he kind of like related that to his relationship with Kyle, because that was kind of the same way. Like, he didn't have like a coaching relationship as like working together with Kyle, but he saw a young talent that was coming off struggling performances in Cleveland, and he gave him a shot to redeem himself, gave him a roster. I mean, he had some weapons to work with, what I'm saying? But he took a chance. He didn't have to. He could have brought on someone that just came off of a successful season, but he didn't. He took a flyer on Cal. So, like, how do you, as far as Dan and his coaching style, how he's recruiting his coaches, like, how would you look at that relationship and that comparison between the two?
Told you, man, it's DQ, not Dan.
I keep forgetting. Sorry.
You trigger me. Yeah.
King
King DQ,
King
Coach Quinn. We can't. Yeah. King Quinn. Anyway, no, I think I like the way he's going about it so far. Like, he's leveraging his personal relationships, and you can tell this is something that he's been thinking about for a while. Like, I don't think, like, I know I said yesterday, I felt like Cliff Kingsbury was, like, of the three hires to this point, was the quote unquote sexy name. Like, he's the splash name. But like Dan Quinn speaks like this is something that he's been thinking about, and I'm okay with it. I like I said yesterday, I like Cliff Kingsbury, the office, the coordinator, much better than Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach. I'm excited to see what they can do, building the roster out and then executing with said roster. But yeah, I love the way that they're going about it so far. I think they're going about it the right way. I want to see. They said they got some more tricks up their sleeves, so I want to see what they do. Position coaches and all that kind of stuff move forward.
Yeah, Chuck, do you think he needs to have a relationship with coaches that he hires? Like, do you think he's someone that's going to be looking more so who's the best or the most qualified for the job, or he's going to be like, you know what, that's my sister's brother?
I think it's going to go hand in hand. Like, not the way Ron did it, where Ron just hired, like, his best friend's friend and stuff like
Nephew,
that.
literally.
Yeah, I think Dan's gonna go about it. He has, I think he already has a list in his head, basically, of like, hey, I know these guys based off of prior experiences, and I just want to use these guys. Like, this is option 1, 2, 3, and if I can't get one, I'm gonna go with 2, and if I can't get 2, so on and so on. So I feel like he has it already planned out, but it's based off of maybe relationships first. But maybe he's going with the best quality coaches also. But we're going to see. Like, he's not done yet. And I believe Josh said everybody just came so far has come from him. So he has it planned out. Like,
what you think, DT, as far as how important do you think relationships are to actually looking at resumes?
It's extremely important. I mean, you look at what Dan Quinn has done. One thing that I like about him so far is, even though he has a relationship to some extent with a lot of people, he still will go outside the box and make a a splash hire, even with someone he is, probably maybe had like 27 paragraphs with in his total lifetime. But he sees some of the qualities that, when he hires Kyle Shanahan, and he sees it in Cliff. Now, everybody's, kind of iffy on Cliff Kingsbury. He's splashy name like Bree said, but we seen last time he got fired from the NFL. But we got to separate the play caller Kingsbury from the leader of men and leading the locker room Kingsbury. So I value what Dan Quinn has done so far. He's going outside the box, something a little different. I mean, we can all say, last regime, they kind of went too late with it, stuck with people they were very familiar with, and that kind of became the downfall and what led to the final season being lame duck, even though they hired EB. So I like this, man. I think, sometimes you got to look at who you think and go with your gut, who's the best for the job.
Agree. We're really pumped that he's going to be a part of it. Obviously, I know people talk about, his acumen with quarterbacks, and that's proven, but he's also an excellent coach. He's not just, a guy that's going to be with the quarterbacks the whole time. So I want to make sure I'm clear on that.
Look at
and then with
Josh.
Joe, it's a little different because I had a chance to be shoulder to shoulder with him, over the last 3 years in Dallas. And through that time, I've just seen the detail, the connection, the play style, and so to play good defense, you better be a good tackling team, and you better know how to take the ball away. And those are two things Joe and the units that he was charged with have been excellent at. And I think over the last 3 years, with Joe there, the team had been, at the top of the league in terms of takeaways and defensive touchdowns. If you want to play good defense, you better tackle because there's still, I'm not talking about in the A gap. I'm talking about space plays that happen in today's NFL. And so in that space, had he had the technique to go and make tackles where guys like Cliff and Kyle and everybody else want to create all this space to say, make it hard. So you better be a good tackling team, and you better know how to get the ball away and show good disguises, to make the quarterback have to read the coverages after he has the ball in his hand. And Joe's been exceptional at that through his career. So that's why when those moments come and you want to nail it, you do it and you go for it. And so I appreciate Josh and Adam when the moment came to go be aggressive. We were going to go.
That's very impressive. That little section of the conversation about him kind of describing who Witt is, what he's seen from him, and what they're going to expect from their defense. Open field tackling, right? He's reacting, right, because of the fact that offenses, like he said, wants to get them in open space, wants to get them in open field. So you have to learn know how to tackle in open space. So that's going to be one of the things that they're definitely going to be looking at. So like from having them say that, DT, was that a struggle with us last year, open field tackling?
Hey, you seen the long touchdowns we had all year? Doggone right was a problem. Like it just everything, everything on defense was a problem. From coverage lapses to gaps being wide open, running lanes not catching. Kenneth Walker had a whole 64-yard touchdown because of missed tackles. But I think ultimately, I think about this quote, and this is the quote that really rung the bell to me when I was walking back in the building. He said, if a player got to overthink, that wasn't the right call. If a player got to overthink, it wasn't the right call. Do you know how long we have heard this? Not even just a Ron Rivera regime thing. Do you know how many times we have heard players say the scheme is too complicated, or they're not in the right place at the right time? So many miscommunications and stuff like that. And you see some of these teams, we're like, dang, they don't give up these big plays like this. But for us, it's just consistently. And hearing that, it just tells me that they're going to have a plan they're going to have a plan. And once they evaluate the players and they talk to them and they see what their strength is, they will accommodate to their strengths. They will accommodate to those strengths. They're not going to put them in a square, in a triangle. They're going to accommodate and do what the best they can with their ability. The man pulled to see Henry.
He's very humbling, Breeze. We heard a report about how after he blew the lead, the Super Bowl lead, that he reached out to other major sporting teams that also blew leads, and the NBA Finals, the 3-1 lead, and that whatever baseball team that did it around that time. He reached out to them, like, how did you overcome that? And that's one story. Another story we heard was when he was fired from Atlanta, he called all of his players and said, what could I have done better? What does that speak to the person?
Man, for one, that shows not only a willingness, but he wants to be self-aware. Like you can tell me about myself better than I can tell you about me. Because as me, it's always harder for you to see essentially the bad in yourself, right? So for him to take those steps and call his players and to reach out to other people in other sports for help, I love it. It shows that he realized that something went wrong. He took every option to learn from his mistake and grow from his mistake. And I think obviously with him getting a second opportunity, 4 or 5 years later now, I think I would hope that he's learned he's learned from that mistake, those mistakes. And I mean, I love it. Like I said, you as a player, you want a coach to kind of want to hear from you, even at my level. Hey, Coach Butler, what am I doing wrong? Hey, Coach Quinn, excuse me. I asked my players, yo, what can I do to help you better? What do you need to learn? What do you think you need to develop in that I haven't taught you, that I haven't helped you with? Like, I love it. That's what you want as a player. You want a coach to come to you and kind of ask you that.
So, like, what does he have to do for you, Chuck, to prove that he's learned from previous mistakes?
I don't want him to go on the field and feel like he has to prove anything, because you can obviously tell that he's eager, like he's just itching to get back out there and to prove like what he's learned. But with that, it comes a lot of mistakes can't happen. You get out there and you think you know what's going on, and obviously like it's a new NFL, and he says he's with the time, but we never know until he gets out there on game day. Obviously he did a good thing in Dallas, but in Dallas he was just D coordinator, like he wasn't a head coach. But he explained in the press conference like what went wrong when he was the head coach. So it just takes a while to see, and we're gonna have to go through the season. So I just don't want him to rush and to be like, oh, I gotta make this right. I gotta, he has to prove something, like, because we're obviously probably not gonna make the Super Bowl in 1 year unless something crazy happens. So I really don't want him to get out there and just like have to like put all his cards out on the table, man. Just take it one game at a time and let's see where we go. What you were saying, Opie?
No, I like the fact that he said that he was going to Cliff and Joe were going, like, Cliff Kingsbury's gonna call the offense, Joe Woods will call the defense. I'm gonna focus on managing the game and everything else. I'm gonna let them do their job and I'm gonna do mine. I like that, and I think again he's gone about building his staff to this point, all those only 2 people, the right way, where you have a DC that kind of knows your system and knows what you want to do. When you have a OC that kind of fits your vision, and you're gonna let them execute that, and you focus on everything else.
Yeah, Corey, we definitely gonna get into that in a couple of weeks, man. But we can give a quick take on that. Like, I don't see them not coming away with a quarterback. I can see them possibly trading back maybe a spot or two, depending, but it has to be in quarterback range. So for me, I don't think they are. I think they're going to take a quarterback somewhere within the top 3-4 picks for sure. What you think, DT?
Yeah, I'm on the same thinking. I feel like they're not gonna try to drop that far back unless you get a very, very big offer that can change this franchise. I'm talking about like multiple picks in like the top 100 again, and it's a couple picks next year. But I think this is obviously, quarterback territory, and they need to address it now. Of course, they're not going to talk about it in the open on the day of a presser when, they're trying to get other things in order. But that's going to be the biggest topic for the next couple of months. And whatever quarterback that you like, wherever you fence it on, me personally, I like all three. So I think I'm in good position to get one of these guys. And I feel like you can't go that far away knowing that if that is the guy they identify for this franchise, you have to take them in the top three.
The thing I love, both DQ and Cliff are taking all of the mistakes they made the previous brand to make them better. Like let's hope Cliff is like, we haven't talked to Cliff yet. I don't know. He could have became a changed man when he went to Thailand, when he came back from Thailand. I don't know. I forgot that boy. And he's just been like, and I don't even think Ceelo was looking earlier. I'm not even sure he's actually the quarterback's coach. I think he's like an assistant or something like that at USC.
Assistant, a senior consultant or something like that.
Yeah. So this is probably his actual real first job since Arizona, which is what, 2 years ago, I think. No, last year.
Last year, yeah.
Last year. So we'll see. All right, we don't want your notes to go to waste. You take the pod is yours, Chuck. Let's run down your notes, buddy.
I got a lot, man. I was like trying to type fast because they were going at it. But the first one, when he was like, "Be where your feet are," the way he said it, it was just like, it was sort of emotional. I don't know if y'all peeped that. Like, I thought he was gonna get up there and start crying, but it was way different from when we heard it from EB, in my opinion. Like the way Dan said it was like he knew exactly what he was talking about. Like when EB would say it, he would just leave like a cliffhanger. He would just say, "Be where your feet are," and not go into detail. Dan sort of went into detail about that. So I like that. And then he said he spent his early 20s in Virginia. That's what he said. I didn't
that was
know
interesting.
that. So, yeah.
I don't know what part, like Virginia stretched pretty far, so he might be down there with DT and them, or he might be over the bridge. He
was what, grad assistant at VMI and stuff like that, right?
What did he say, Breeze?
So he was a grad assistant at VMI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get, I won't say the other quote in here. I don't want to mess up, algorithm. But when he talked about when he was head coach and he was just taking on too much at one time, because did he have roster control in Atlanta, I believe, and stuff. I think that's what he was getting at. He just had too much going on in Atlanta, so he couldn't really focus on the football side of things. All right, then going on to the overall, I said this earlier in the space. He just had a great interview. He went in there, talked to Josh and Batman, and they liked what he had. So he might have been the guy from the jump, and Ben Johnson and the other guys might have been the B's. Dan might have been 1A the whole time. So we never know. And he wanted this job because he said he was hoping, he was like, "Please call me, please call him." So he wanted this job. Another thing he talked about was edge rushers. So we're probably going to look at edge rushers in the draft or free agency, since we did what we did with chasing Montez. So we're gonna be looking for it. And he said he liked the wide receiver core also. So we're probably gonna keep our top 3 or top 4 wide receivers, and go grab maybe 1 or 2 more. But we'll see from there. And he talked about Bob Myers a little bit. And
so hold on, let's go back. That was interesting. He only mentioned the D tackles and the wide receivers, right?
Yeah, and he talked about edge rushing a little bit, yeah. But he said what he liked from us was our D tackles and our wide receivers.
That was Josh specific. Like that.
Do you disagree?
Nah. I mean, I like B-Rob, you know what I'm saying? But the room itself.
That's one player though.
Yeah, so that's very specific. He said that. We definitely got to remember that. I think that's one of the things you'll forget about because it was said in his press conference, and as time goes on, you'll forget about it. But that's something we need to remember for sure. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I touched on he said Bob Myers helped him also because they had a couple conversations. So whoever was complaining about that Bob Myers hire, it worked out. It worked out. And then just the overall the good vibe of the press conference, you know. Like it seemed like these guys have known each other for a long time and they were just sitting around, you know, chatting with our media team. So that was cool to see. And then basically he was saying as a head coach, he gotta put it all together. You know, he's not gonna be too hands on one side, like offense or defense. He's just gonna be there to be their head coach and put everything together. And then one thing that really drove him into Washington was the ownership. It wasn't our roster. It wasn't the money we have or the draft picks. He said the ownership and the GM is what really pulled him in. So that connection he has with Adam Peters and Josh Harris really helped. I'm trying to skip a couple things. Recalibrating, not rebuild, you know, and then the things he kept touching on: fast, physical, aggressive for our team, and explosive and physical. So that means he wants some heavy hitters out there, you know, some guys that's really gonna run around and get to the ball.
Who do you all think the most aggressive players on our defense are?
Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne and Derek Forrest.
Yeah, that's the first person that came to my mind. Was
I think Quan is a little aggressive too, but he's like the bad side of the aggressive. Like he's over aggressive sometimes.
You said Quan?
Yeah,
that could just be you know, youthful. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking of aggressive, like, you know, like thinking of default, like hitting people and stuff like that. Quan is aggressive in the you know, the bad way.
So the recalibrate and rebuild, what's the difference between those two words, DT?
Come on, teacher.
I may be a teacher, but I don't know. That's my first time hearing about it. So he said recalibrate. So I guess he's saying he don't see this as like a rebuild, man. Like we thinking like 2 to 3, 5 years. Like Ron was talking about now, he thinking about maybe we get this thing on the go. Let's try to win some games. Then we set it off. Try to set the tone. I think it's all about setting the tone for this franchise. We can still acknowledge, you know, he's very self-aware that pretty sure him and Peters have talked about the roster. There are definitely some spots that we need to address. But there's also a feeling with these guys that, you know, they can win. I mean, let's be real. Even though there were some things that helped them, but a lot of these guys were on that team that won the NFC East with 7-9. But regardless of that, they still won the division, however you like it or not. So they have been, you know, in that middle pack, despite the talent deficiency and, you know, some of the coaching they had to deal with. So it has to be a reason why he just said, this is a job for me. This is the job for me. So recalibrate, I actually like that word, man. You know, let's get away from rebuild.
Carefully worded statements. I think there's a few ways you could look at it. To me, rebuild could mean like you have to kind of tear down what's already here and then build that from the ground up. I think you can honestly look across the roster and be like, well, we don't really have to tear down much because it ain't a whole lot to tear down. We can just, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like the receivers. I like the interior defensive line. Everything else, I can just kind of build on my own. And we had 20-something players going into free agency. Half of those players probably won't be back, maybe even more. Because, I mean, it's a 4-13 football team. It's, you know, not a huge reason to run it back with a lot of those people. But I just think it's kind of one of those carefully where recalibrate just sounds a lot better than rebuild. And I think few key additions in specific places, you know, quarterback, edge, corner, linebacker, like offensive line, of course. Like a few key additions in certain places, you can kind of start to flip this thing a little quicker than essentially a rebuild would take. And obviously, we just heard so much with, you know, rebuild in the past. A lot of people is probably triggered by it too. So I think it was more so just one of those kind of carefully worded statements, which there were a few of today. But that's just my take on it. You know, kind of interpret things.
Marcus, I think that was an Airbnb or something. I don't think that was his house. I don't know. We could get something like that. I don't think there's no shots like that over the Potomac, but you might find some. What's that? Roslyn.
He gonna get a house. He ain't getting no condo.
Yeah, well, he's short. He ain't got no views like that close to here. He started in the VA, went with Murray. He also said they was going to address the trenches, so they will also build the O line.
Yeah, I think they have to though. Like that kind of goes without saying almost.
This is why, like, I don't know about moving up, man.
Nah, I think there are enough holes on this team where like you don't if you say we need to go get a quarterback and you have an opportunity at 2 of the top 3, regardless of how it shakes out, I think you do your due diligence on all 3 of those quarterbacks and you take the best one. I don't think you need to give up multiple picks to move to number 1 again, unless you just feel like the player that's likely to go number 1 is just that much better than everybody else. But I think you stay pat at number 2, potentially maybe even slide back 1 or 2 spots.
It's going to be interesting for sure. Yeah. Wayne said Recalibrating is taking care of what we already have, figuring out the correct parts and pieces we already have, building on that. And because you recalibrate brakes, right? You just use the same brake and you just like tighten something up or something.
Like a scale, you can recalibrate a scale.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We just bought new ones, but they were ounce scales. Garage says you can recalibrate without replacing. If you rebuild, you have to get new parts. Recalibration requires changing how things operate, sometimes pointing them in a new direction. You went to VMI. This recalibration is a tree. And remember, Peter said in his welcome interview that he's all about winning now. I think they get aggressive in the draft and free agency. But I wonder what that means, though. Like, because if you get aggressive and you move up, you lose
draft capital.
Slows down the build of your team.
If you get aggressive and overspend, that $83 million dries up very quickly. And again, you still have your own players to pay as well, assuming there's a few of them you want to keep.
Yeah. Well, Troy, we're not going to introduce the coordinators. They already did the flyers that we signed them. So I don't think they're going to introduce like you just saw here. They're coordinators.
I think if they introduce them, they've done it today. They want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. You'll probably talk to them at some point. But the only reason they did EB because that was a whole thing that was totally different. All right. What else you got, Chuck?
That's pretty much it for me, man. They tried to get him in the press conference. They tried to say what record he basically wanted this year, but he did a good job of not really answering that. He just said he wanted us to fulfill our identity this season. So he wanted us to hit all our check marks and make sure we establish the identity this season. So that's really it, man. Like he sounds like he knows what he wants to do. So now we just got to get to it.
Okay. He knows how to interview. You know what I mean? As far as making sure he doesn't say nothing try not to get anybody too riled up as it pertains to results and records and stuff and process and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think that's also what we needed too in a head coach because we've been through 4 years of just people throwing out stuff and then the media going with it. So we needed somebody that could at least try and manipulate the media a little bit while still telling the truth at the same time.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
What else you got? Chuck, got anything else you want to add? We end up, man.
I'm good, man. Like I don't want people to get too stuck on this recalibrate stuff because it's right there. It's plain and simple. You know, when you recalibrate something, it's the same device, but you know it still has the same goal that it's supposed to do. So you just refresh it basically, and it's still meant to do the same thing. So this team is meant to win. We just going to get some new pieces and try to win again. But that's all I got.
What's up, Marcus? Appreciate you, bro. Troy said I heard that Dan Quinn going to call the game. Cliff call.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's how it should work, though.
Yep.
I think your head, even if you get a head coach job by being an elite coordinator, I think the best course of action as a head coach is you find coordinators to do essentially what you want them, what your vision is. If you're an offensive coach, you hire somebody that kind of knows your system and runs the offense the way you want it run, and vice versa on defense. And a strong coordinator on the other side of the ball to kind of handle things. And as a head coach, you focus on managing the football game. I trust you. I got this right here. We're gonna, take care of everything. I think that's the best way for it to work.
What you got, DT?
I'm gonna say very impressed with his press conference. Good presser for Dan Quinn. The only thing I'm gonna say is I still got to get myself, to buy in a little bit with Kingsbury. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But other than that, man, I like what he's doing so far. I can't wait for the ammo for the next couple of staff members out here. I can't wait to hear some names come up here.
And for all of you, tomorrow, Redzone Lab's going to have Cowboys content creator Nix at 5:00 tomorrow. We're going to talk about Dan Quinn. We're going to talk about Witt. We're going to talk about Harris and any of other coaches that he may think about bringing over. It's the same one. It's the same one you're under now. If you should be able to see that that logo in the bottom right, Troy. If you hit that logo, it'll take you to subscription. All of our channels are there. I'll be on this same channel tomorrow. And we're going to talk about some of their pending free agents that they have that Dan may not be interested in. We'll talk about that. But for all of you, don't go nowhere. I'm going to put up this clip for all you Commanders are the same old Commanders and people just did this and did that to us. That's not so. We're not the same. We're different. We're new era. But I'll let you listen to Shefty. But before I do that, remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
As an interesting situation was reported this weekend that about Ben Johnson, and I think it was the Commanders, whether he didn't interview well or he thought that, or he didn't trust that the Commanders front office and new ownership, they were basketball guys and not football guys. Is there you got anything on that for us, Shefty?
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson obviously is one of the top assistant coaches in the league. And the situation in the end didn't work out, I think, the way that a lot of people thought or hoped that it would. And again, Ben Johnson is entitled to do and stay wherever he wants. He's more comfortable in Detroit being the offensive coordinator right now. That he just is. Like, you speak to other people that interviewed him as well, not just Washington, which didn't get the chance, but he wasn't entirely comfortable, getting ready to make the transition to become a head coach. Where it becomes an issue, I think, is this. If you know that you're pulling out of that job and you're withdrawing your name from consideration, all good, no issues. There's a time to do it when the Washington ownership group is not in the air on the way to see you in Detroit. Now, people could say they're coming to see Aaron Glenn there too, and that is 100% accurate and true. They were on the way to see Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. But if you're Ben Johnson, let's just think about this logically, okay? If you know that you don't want that job and you've committed to talking to these people who've spent weeks doing diligence on you and investigating the possibility of hiring you, why would you not just sit down with them when your season's over? Listen to them for 2 hours. Say, well, Mr. Harris, Mr. Rails, impressive. I want to wish you the best of luck. Good luck with everything. Thank you for coming to Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm very happy here. I'm going to stay, but I really appreciate
You're
that
going to
stuff.
love Aaron Glenn. You're going to love Aaron Glenn. Yeah, all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, and I'll also say this, the Commanders found out in midair at the same time that they were getting a text from an agent. So it wasn't like something that was done in advance or there was any warning. There were media reports. One person on the plane turned around and said, "Is this true? He's not interviewing with us anymore?"
This guy. Aren't we flying 2 media?
What the hell?
Josh Harris. They don't do this in the NBA. And then he goes, "Oh, this is the basketball guys."
So now back to the basketball people. What does that mean? Either you're good and effective at your job or you're not. Either you know what you're doing or you don't.
Shefty's plugged.
Okay?
Shefty's plugged with the Commanders. We need to remember that. New ownership. Shefty's plugged with the Commanders. We need to